Anybody who's played a paladin know it's a lot of fun to drop a smite on a crit and just roll a crap ton of dice. Now we're going to replicate that. We're going to give ourselves auto crits, and we're going to just drop smites with those auto crits, and we're not going into paladin to do it, baby. This is the Eldritch Assassin. In order to pull this build off, I went with the bugbear. There's a ton of different lineages you can use, but bugbears are typically assassins, and I do like that they give you a bit of extra damage on that crit. They give you 2d6 if you have someone surprised, 4d6 if it's a crit. So we're adding 4d6 to our combo. Cool, throw them in there. As for our stats, we want to make sure we have 14 in dexterity for medium armor. We also want to have charisma as our primary, but we need to make sure that it's an odd stat because we're taking in a half feat. Past that, it's going to be constitution, then any remainder can go into wisdom. As for our level up structure, we're going 1 level into Hexblade, 3 levels into Assassin Rogue, then the remainder into Hexblade. So we're taking our first level into Hexblade to get our medium armor and get our charisma attacks doing their thing, as well as all of the other amazing things that Hexblade does for us. However, when we start out, we're going to be taking the Eldritch Blast cantrip and using that as our primary attack, which is going to change a lot later. We're eventually going to do our Eldritch Versatility to get rid of it and get a different cantrip, but for now, that's what we're going to be doing just to hold us over until we're set up. Now, level 2 through 4, we're going into Rogue, specifically the Assassin Rogue. We are here for expertise in deception and stealth. We're here for cunning action, of course, because it's incredible, but most of all, we're here for those sweet, sweet auto crits. Quick discussion to have about Assassin's auto crits. Let's set up an example here that has actually happened with one of my players. They sneak into a building and there's a single goblin there and they say, I attack them. Okay, now as rules is written, you cannot make an attack without initiative being rolled. So we roll initiative and the goblin wins initiative. So this attack is coming for the goblin's head, but it's no longer surprised because it had the surprise condition, but it went first. At the end of its turn, it loses the surprised condition. So now it gets stabbed, but you do not get the auto crit. That's rules as written with the assassin class, and it's nonsense. Let me break it down. There are 2 reasons I go against something as written. The first is it makes no damn sense. This makes no damn sense. The thing that surprises the goblin is being stabbed. That's what surprises the goblin. So the goblin cannot be out of surprise before the thing that surprised him is finished. So the knife hitting him is what's surprising him. So that's what gives him the surprised condition. Also, initiative isn't a magical number. It's the person who has initiative. Now this goblin doesn't see you, could even be sleeping, and you're swinging a knife towards it. That means you have initiative on it. So despite the rule saying, no, you don't have initiative, it makes no sense, so I lean away from it, because you clearly do. Now the second reason that I would go away from rules as written is it's not as fun. Think about it, your player took the assassin class thinking that they're gonna get these surprise attacks and murder people, and that's what they want to do. So taking that away for them because of some nuanced rule system, it's like, no, I surprised the goblin, I got behind them and I attacked their head. Why are you telling me I'm not getting this surprise attack? It feels terrible for the player. And to me, it's like, if it takes away fun, if it takes away from the fantasy of being an assassin, then it's not working the way it's intended. Now for those 2 reasons, I throw those rules out and just give them their surprise attack and then roll initiative right after. Let them have that initial burst, then set everything up rules as written, and it'll be fine. Okay, rant over. Now let's say that your DM completely disagrees with me and they want you to have to do it exactly rules as written. Well, then there's a big argument for not going bugbear and going herring gun, because they're going to give you a boost to your initiative, as well as probably taking the alert feat at some point. That way you're going to also have a burst to your initiative, so it's very rare that you'll be losing initiative battles, but it'll still happen. Unfortunate for you. Now after that 3rd level into Rogue, we're going to go back into Hexblade. And once we get level 3, we're going to get Pact of the Blade, and we're going to take the Invocation Improved Pact Weapon. This is going to allow us to use a bow as our pact weapon, so now we have ranged attacks from afar. We no longer need Eldritch Blast, so once we get our next level, we're going to get rid of it. And once we get 5th level into Warlock, we get Eldritch Smite, which is the next invocation that we're going to be taking. Now our whole setup is complete. We could do assassinations beforehand, but now we can combine them with Eldritch Smite for a ton of damage. And what's really cool about this character is the versatility of assassinations we have available to us. After we get our Pact of the Blade, the next level, we're going to get the Actor feat. This is going to round out our odd charisma and allow us to change our voice to match other people. So when we combined it with our other invocation that we took, the Mask of Many Faces, now we can look and sound like anyone. anyone. Everything is now put together. We could do cool stuff beforehand. We could do assassinations. We could do infiltrations, but now all the glue comes together and we can really do infiltrations and assassinations. What's really cool about this character is the breadth of assassinations we could pull off. Because we can look like anyone or sound like anyone, we have expertise in stealth, both able to infiltrate via being sneaky as well as being tricky and clever and sounding and looking like people. We have options for getting up close and looking like their wife, sounding like their wife, and then also shanking them. I'd say that's pretty surprising. You should get that surprise attack. Alternatively, you could be the chef, and something else really cool is we can teleport our weapon in. So, you know, we get past all the guards who are checking for weapons, and then once we're in there pretending to be the chef, we can teleport our dagger to us. That's not all though, as we also have ranged attacks. We have bows, so we can be looking at people from afar and sniping them from the top of towers, and that's a piece of assassinating as well. So once we create the surprise, we're getting our rogue sneak attack, we're getting our bugbear extra sneak attack damage, getting our weapon attack, but most importantly, we get to drop an Eldritch Smite on top of their dome at the same time. One of the cool things about Eldritch Smite is it works at range. This is going to be a guaranteed 8d8 of damage on top of everything else we're doing. You're going to be hitting like a freaking truck, and if they're not dead, they are in pain. So that is our setup, but of course, we're not going to be getting surprise attacks all the time. What do we do in the cases we're not set up? What we do is we are an archer with fight winning spells. We're still a 5th level warlock with 3rd level fight winning spells like hypnotic pattern and fear, and we combine that with having a cool bow that we sit in the background and shoot people in the face. This is a great time to mention that our Hexblade's curse gives us a wider range of crits, so we're going to get more crits than often, and we can drop Eldritch Smites in the middle of combat as well once we hit those crits. Now past this level, you can scale up by going more into warlock and getting bigger Eldritch Smites. Probably going to Warlock 9 if you want those 5th level spell slots, and maybe even 11 if you want that 3rd spell slot, so you have 3 Eldritch Smites at 5th level. You also get a Mystic Arcanum in that case, so yeah, it might be worth your time. Or we can go on the other end and go rogue for higher sneak attack damage and more expertise, just kind of being a better utility overall. I think either one works just fine. Sky's the limit for you. I want to give a shout out to one of our amazing patrons, Sean M. Sean M, thank you so much for what you do for the channel. If you want to support the channel like Sean M and get some awesome benefits along the way, consider checking out our Patreon. But with that, my friends, I hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you then.